Okay, so let's call the meeting to order. I'm going to read the checklist to allow for the Zoom meeting. So a checklist to ensure meetings are compliant with the right to know law during the state of emergency. As a chair of the Sanborn Regional School Board's Finance Subcommittee, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of COVID-19 pandemic and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12 pursuant to executive order 2020-04, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, I am confirming that we are A, providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. We are utilizing Zoom for this electronic meeting. All members of the Sanborn Regional School Board's Finance Subcommittee had the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting through this platform, and the public has access to contemporaneously listen if necessary. Participate in this meeting through dialing the following phone number: 1-646-558-8656. The meeting ID is 944-9913-6703, or by clicking on the following website address, YouTube address. It's a www.youtube.com/c/SRSD meeting videos, all one word. Item B, provide public notice of the necessary information for assessing the meeting. We previously gave notice to the public of the necessary information for assessing the meeting, including how to assess the meeting using Zoom or telephonically. Instructions have also been provided on the website of the Sanborn Regional School District at www.sau17.net. C, providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anybody has a problem, please call 978-642-8541 or email at helpdesk@sau17.net. Adjourning the meeting if the public is unable to access the meeting, which is point D. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting will be adjourned and rescheduled. Please note that all votes that are taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. Let's start the meeting by taking a roll call attendance. When each member states their presence, please also state whether there's anyone in the room with you during the meeting, which is required under the right to know law. Matt.
I am Matt Angel. I am at the SAU office, and there's no one here with me.
Jim.
Jim Baker. I'm in a room in my home, and there's no one here with me.
Pete.
Yeah, I'm in my office, and there's nobody with me.
And Jamie Fitzpatrick, I'm in my home office, and there's nobody with me. Why don't we start with a quick Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible,
for liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so let me jump into the meeting agenda. Did everybody have a chance to look at the minutes?
Yes.
And could I get a motion on those then?
I move we approve the minutes as written.
Second.
Okay, so let's do the roll call vote. Jim?
Yes.
Pete?
Yep.
And myself, aye, so that's unanimous. I did want to note from the minutes, I noticed one of the things that we talked about in the minutes was the grant. And then I note that we saw some grant emails come in. Is that something, Matt, that you can talk about here, or is that something that's going to be coming up for the next meeting? I wasn't sure the timing of that.
What, the COVID grant?
Yeah, you had sent something out about grants, and I tied it to the grants we talked about in the last meeting or not.
Yeah, that's going to be when we try to get down to item 6G.
Oh, okay. I will hold off on that. So the first item on new business is free and reduced applications and how it affects adequacy aid. Matt, if you want to step us through that.
Yep, and I just want to be quick about this, okay? So here, I'm going to try to share my screen really fast. Oops, I can't do it. Anyways, so I did a little quick write-up the issue came up because Nashua is losing about $6 million worth of state aid because their free and reduced applications just pretty much dropped. And we had seen the same thing on our side. So I wanted to calculate what kind of reduction we would expect from free and reduced aid as well. So we get about $1,893 from the state for each eligible applicant, okay? And what we saw was a 74% reduction in those that have applied for free and reduced lunch. And, but we also saw a 47% increase in those that just directly qualify, okay? So you have to look at free and reduced as two pools of applicants, okay? The first one is when they apply and they're income eligible. The second one is if they belong to some food federal welfare program, such as TANF or the SNAP program, they're automatically eligible. So we just saw a shift from people who would qualify normally under applications down to that would qualify under direct certification. So we actually picked up 3 applicants through the whole process. I don't expect any decrease in state aid because of it, or see the same kind of reduction that Nashua was expecting. But I wanted to make sure that the committee was aware that, yeah, we're seeing a reduction in applications, but we're also seeing an increase in direct certifications.
And pretty much a wash, right? Other than 3 people.
That's right.
Jim, you had your hand up?
Yeah, so the combination of those categories determine what the state pays in aid?
Yeah, so when the state does their aid, this is just one category of multiples. Like they'll have their adequacy ed, they'll have a special education, and then they'll have a payment in for free and reduced lunch. I can, you know, at the next meeting, why don't I try to break out and educate you all on how the state aid is broken out? Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions on that? Yeah, that's good news. I did see that Nashua article in the paper, and it was a little concerning.
Yeah, it made my heart skip a beat too. So
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. Do you have any idea what their budget is?
no,
Yeah,
but 6 million is still, even if their budget's $100 million, that's still 6 million is still a big number.
yeah.
It's newspaper worthy.
Yeah, it's sad. The next item, there's no budget transfer, so the next item is iPads.
Yeah, so what we found with going into remote, and I also have a staff report out for this, is that we currently have about 200 iPads at Bakey, but we have 300 kids that are on remote right now that would be using all those iPads. So we're short about 100 iPads for a 1-to-1 ratio. And so what we did is we priced out, we can buy iPads in a block of 100s. I'm sorry, in blocks of 10 units. And so to get really good price, we estimate it's going to be about $326.50 per iPad. That includes the unit, the management software that we manage across the all the iPads, and then also a case to protect the iPad. So we're asking for approval to withdraw $32,650 from the facility use revolving fund to purchase 100 iPads for Bakey. That would bring their numbers up from 200 to 300. At some point in the future, I'd like to talk about replacing the other 200 or get on a rotation plan for the other 200. But I think right now we have a need for 100.
Jim?
So these are in addition to Chromebooks?
No, so basically grades K through 2 use the iPads because they're easier to use. Grades 3 through 12 use the Chromebooks.
So there's 300. So kindergarten gets iPads?
Yes.
So between kindergarten through grade 2, there's 300 kids.
There's approximately 300. I don't have the exact number because
Ballpark.
Yeah, because all I could do was try to pull this together at ballpark. We just know that we're down 100 iPads. We're trying. We went through the SAU yesterday trying to scrounge up as many iPads as we can to keep the program going for this week.
Did we have 300 iPads like last year?
We did. The problem is that the iPads some of them are so old that they no longer can be updated to accommodate the software, Jim. That's a great question. So the reason why the need is emergent is that our new tech director, Gordon, did a fantastic job of auditing all the iPads, and he's been re-imaging them, which means that you update all the software and reset them. And he's also been setting them up with the system by which he can push out automatic updates to all of the iPads in the district simultaneously. So if the teachers need to add a piece of software, Jamie, this goes back to software use. If we deem that a piece of software is necessary for our district, Gordon will be able to click a button and it will upload to all the iPads, even at home. It's pretty incredible. So, but what happened is, as he was going through the iPads and looking at them, he realized that about 100 of them were we have a number that are significantly out of date, but we have 100 that literally can't handle the software updates. They're so old. You know, if you think about iPads being in the current, the 9th iteration, these iPads are in the 2nd iteration. So we were trying not to burden the district with purchasing these this year, but in light of the current situation with coronavirus and the likelihood that some remote instruction may be required in the future, we feel like we need to get on top of this now.
Pete, any questions? So I got two. And one of them we don't need to resolve here. It's just at some point in time, absent remote learning. I understand the remote learning part, but I'd like to get a better understanding of what is the need for an iPad with a kindergartner.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm one of the at fault parents that, oh, look how cool it is. That kid can use an iPad already. And my God, I wish I'd never given him one. I never let him look at one. So, there's a lot of detriments to having them be using that all the time. The other question I have is I've seen, and I don't know if it's accurate or not, I've seen some postings out on Facebook, so probably not accurate, but I figured I'd ask anyway.
Never know.
Associated with this, where people are making the comment that, well, I've got my at-home Chromebook and my school Chromebook. So I have 2 Chromebooks that the school provides me, one to take home and one to leave at school. Is that factual that we're gearing up for 2 Chromebooks per person?
No, what there are some
so.
situations where people have, you got to remember that each individual student has their own individual needs. And I really can't comment about who does or doesn't, whether or not it's special ed or regular ed or what's
Wouldn't
happening.
expect that.
I don't know. I would need Gordon here to speak about that, Jamie. I think that for the purpose of this request, so the answer is no, we're not typically supporting people with 2 computers unless
I didn't think so.
Unless they have 2 students. If they have 2 students, then they may have 2 devices. But that's certainly something that we can dig into a little bit more, that idea. But I think that the question about the iPads is, for remote instruction, elementary school uses a program called Seesaw.
Right.
And the Seesaw program, the admins and teachers have been very clear, it is way better on an iPad for a younger student. Because I asked a lot of clarifying questions in our meetings about why are we buying iPads instead of Chromebooks? Why couldn't the younger students use a Chromebook? And the answer that I got was that, and having been a K2 principal, I can speak to the fact that the math programs, the writing programs, the letter recognition programs in Seesaw run in a way more intuitive fashion for little kids on an iPad. They're way easier to use. So I feel like that's an area where it's worth the Apple investment, right? Whereas for the Chromebooks in the upper levels, I don't feel that an Apple investment is necessarily, although, as you all know, I prefer Apple devices. I would not advocate that we need to spend that as a public school district.
Jim?
One of the drivers of this is remote learning, and the driver of that is COVID. Is this reimbursable from the COVID funds that we hope to get?
It's, okay. It is for the CARES Act grant. And I have to realign some funds with that, and that's gonna happen this week. So let's clarify this. When we make, if the committee decides to do this, I'm hoping that the motion would be that we're gonna withdraw the funds from the revolving fund, the facility use revolving fund, and also try to apply or obtain grant funding if it's available. And I'm going to try to apply it to the CARES Act grant and have it reimbursed.
So when does the money have to be encumbered in order to order the iPads?
Well, no, what it is it's not to be encumbered. I need authorization to withdraw the funds from the facility use revolving fund.
Right,
I just
right,
can't do it on my
But the
own.
timing of it is, if you can get grant money for it, then why would you take it out of the facility use fund? I'm just thinking of the timing of it.
Yeah, I can't get the
Because you
grant
can't put it
funding.
back in there is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it would be put back in the facility use, but I can't get the grant funding that fast.
Oh, I see.
It may be January, February, March.
Can that money then be put back into facilities use, or does it have to be part of a warrant?
No, I would say that it would go back in the facility use, because what we're doing is we're trying to, use one fund to buy it outright. And if I can't get the grant fund, then I'm going to be pulling it from the facility use. But then if we get the grant funding, then we're going to reimburse the facility use revolving fund, put it back.
Right. I don't have any other questions.
If nobody has other questions, could I get a motion on that?
I move that we authorize the spending of $32,600 $32,650 to be withdrawn from the facilities use fund for 200 iPads.
100 iPads.
Oh, sorry, thank you. 100 iPads, and that if money is available for a grant, that money go into the facilities use fund as
Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, I got it. I'll second it.
Okay, can we get a roll call vote? Pete,
Yes,
Jim,
Yes.
and I'm a yes also, so that's unanimous.
Great, thank you very much.
Facility use waiver fee.
Yeah, so we got a request yesterday for the town of Kingston to use the auditorium and for their budget hearings. This would be in January and in February. Normally we charge people or organizations that use the facility custodial fee to clean the facility right after its use. I have spoken to some of the school board members, and there was a desire to charge the town for that fee. But then we're also hearing some concern from the town about paying for that fee. And the argument is that the town of Kingston provides a lot of benefit to the school district. I did speak with Tom earlier today. And I think what would be fair too is if we allowed Newton to come in and use the facility for their budget hearings as well. Now, just remember, this is for COVID. This is for having separation between all the individuals while they attend the budget hearings.
So I'll give you my 2 cents and then others can chime in. So I don't have any particular issue with that. I mean, if we think that, we've asked and had Kingston's selectmen working with us and trying to sell the seminary. There's been some very congenial activity to make that happen. We are a district that is funded by the 2 towns. We happen to have facilities that they don't have to accommodate a situation that is existing with COVID, that they don't have another better way of managing. And I think it's reasonable for us to be able to provide that without a charge. I don't know what you other guys think.
We've always worked hand in hand with each other, so, we've never charged, we've always swapped. I mean, they need plowing or they need a plow, so we go through, nobody, just, yeah, okay, fine. We've never been that nitpicky, I guess I almost want to call it.
Yeah, Tom?
I did propose that we offer to Newton and Kingston to use the auditorium facility for the purpose of their town meetings this year, to provide an option for both communities to socially distance, have a successful meeting, and not be charged any fees in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. I just thought it would be nice to offer it to everybody.
Yeah, I would concur with that. Jim, did you have any comments?
Yeah, I think that if both towns are offered, there's no reason to single one town out for a fee.
Do we need a motion on that or no?
I would like a motion to waive the fees for the two towns and to allow the district to use the use of the facility, which is not congruent with our COVID-19 plan. We might want to bring that to the whole board. I don't think anyone's going to have any problem with that. We could even do it during the facilities meeting report out tonight. I just don't want to tie them up. I want the towns to know that we're going to support them and give them the location. I don't want to let it go on for another 2 weeks until the next.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that question. Is this something for the finance committee or something?
Right,
for the
it's,
school?
Well,
I think the waiver we can do, but the actual, the usage, I think we really should have the school board vote on that. I don't see any reason why we couldn't do that tonight.
Yeah, and I think we probably want to, although they haven't asked yet, we might want to, I'm guessing the selectmen may want to have the school, the deliberative also at the, at both. So,
Yeah.
and if they ask, let them get it behind us. But I
Yeah,
think that's something tonight.
This would be
What
for
I
their
would say-
budget hearings and deliberative.
It's the budget hearings and the deliberative. They asked for 4 meetings.
Oh, okay, so they already did. Okay.
Amy?
Yeah, Jim.
I just want to advise them that they're going to need us to provide us with a schedule, and it can't be in conflict with school district functions.
No, they usually meet on Saturdays.
Well, we'd still want a schedule.
Yeah, oh, yeah, sure, yeah.
Matt?
Yeah, they provided us with dates and times, and none of those dates and times conflict with the school district.
So that's Kingston, right?
Kingston.
That's
yeah.
Kingston.
We would
We
need
haven't
that-
extended the offer yet for Newton.
Yep.
And I think what we can do is we can get together as a group and come to an agreement. I think we can make it work.
Okay.
So why don't we, for a waiver of the fees, because I think that's appropriate for finance committee, why don't, I'll make the motion that we waive the fees for budget hearings and deliberative sessions for the towns of Kingston and Newton.
I'll second.
Okay, any comments? Pete,
Yep,
Jim,
Yes.
and myself is yes. And then Jim, when we go to the school board meeting, if you can just bring that one up and we can get whole board then to make the offer, but I don't think we can do that out of the finance committee.
So I guess that would go under new business.
Yeah, I guess.
You could also just, I don't know if it's okay. You tell me. If Jamie wanted to ask for the board to consider it under the finance committee report out.
Yeah, I can do that.
It's it's timely. It's unusual that it's timely. Matt, do you have any advice on that?
No,
I don't think
really
this is
gonna
a big deal. It's because of COVID. Normally we wouldn't ask the board to even approve this. We've said in our COVID reopening plan that we would not allow the facilities to be used by outside groups. So, Matt will make sure that the auditorium is sprayed down with the sprayers after the meeting to make sure that, they're sanitized that evening. Should be fine.
I can cover that in the report out.
Yeah, okay.
So the next item was revolving funds. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at it. It's solely interest. It ends in October balances and it's solely interest. And then on the facility use revolving fund, it is the receipt of the 1 month's rent for the old middle school.
Is that also through October?
Yeah, all the dates are through October.
So those are the same numbers we would have seen in the facilities subcommittee report 2 weeks ago. If it's through-
Well, for facility use, it's going to be $170,721.
No, the reports are the same bottom line numbers as were reported back in the facilities. If it's October, if it's through October.
Yeah.
30th.
I think you're correct. It's the October numbers.
Okay,
Bring them up if people want, but if you don't, that's what the data sets are. It's like the interest are like $11 on 2 accounts and $7 on another account,
Yeah.
and then the rental payment is $11,667, I believe.
That's correct.
I'm all set.
Okay.
Okay. If we jump down to the health and Matt, these are reversed. The links.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. So the health is the one that says excluding health.
Yeah. I see that. Oh, well.
I figured you'd just try to catch me when I was sleeping.
All right. So let's do the one. Let's see which one is first. The one with the health insurance is first. Okay. And I'm going to see if I can bring it up on my screen really quick.
Yeah. Well, he's bringing that up just for reference for Larry and Pete. There's a $27,000 difference in the remaining balance. It's down by $27,000 that has been encumbered that was not encumbered last time.
All right. So for health insurance, now this is through the end of November. We have expended a total of 1.4 million. We have encumbered 2.8 million. And so what's remaining is $686,490. Okay. Let me see if I can switch to the other one. So can you see the
Yes.
remainder? Okay, so basically this is just the general fund. So the general fund has an adopted budget of $30,237,282 for the month of November. Through November, we expended $10,905,836, and we've also encumbered $16,713,166. So that means that our available budget remaining is $2,637,631. That represents an 8.7% unspent.
And so Jim and Pete, that's $513,000 less in the remaining fund than last time. So we've encumbered an additional $500,000. Do you happen to know, Matt, what that additional $500,000 was covering, what the big items were?
No, I don't. I can dig that up for you. But just to go forward, I expect that amount remaining to be reduced all the way through March. And then to get really, really tight in May and June.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be good to just have that information as to what the big ticket items are additionally encumbered.
Absolutely.
It's awful nice that we're not planning $200,000 bathrooms and $150,000 main offices and parking lots and right. It's such a different, as hard as COVID is, that's the real unknown.
Yeah.
Right. And that's hard, but compared to what we went through last year, it's kind of, we're not chasing down contractors and having electrical wires cut. So we're feeling okay.
Yeah. Dollars and cents wise, it's a different play.
Yeah.
Okay. So for revenue, now I see a number that isn't in there yet. And this budget needs to be updated because the tax rate has been set, which is in December. So the December numbers are going to change for the budget. And you'll notice like the use of fund balance, I just have a placeholder of 525,000. That's going to end up being 2.3 million. So As of November, the budgeted revenues was $35,268,836. We're recording revenue of $28,399,896. Remaining is $6,868,000 to be collected. Now, we have issued an invoice to Fremont, and that's not showing up. I expect that to show up in the December report. And I believe it's for just over $1 million.
Go ahead, Jim.
So Matt, the current appropriations are before the new tax rates have been set, is that right?
That's correct. Yeah. So let me see if I can, we actually are issuing our payment schedule today. Let me see if I can share that with you so you can see what we're doing. Let's see. I believe it's this one. So let me increase this. So this is this is a payment schedule that we send out to each of the member towns. And so for the town of Kingston and Newton, they're making a payment for their local assessment and then their statewide tax, and it's by month. So you can see that for like the first 6 months, Kingston was paying between 1.6, well, just over $1 million to $1.6 million. And then then it was adjusted down to what the actual tax rate setting form was. And we're going to be collecting 4.9 million for the remainder of the year. Okay. And by the way, these numbers are down significantly. When we first did this assessment, this was almost a $13 million guesstimate. And so it's making the payments for the remainder of the year much easier for the towns to absorb. Now for Newton, they've been making payments just over 1.1 million to up to 1.2 million, and the remainder of the year is going to be 716,000 each month until until June 30th.
So those are like amortized numbers based on what their total charge would be for all this period?
Right. So the document that was used to set the tax rate, and this one here is for the town of Newton. The town of Newton has to collect $10,901,154 from its taxpayers and remit that to the school district. And this is a payment schedule for the town of Newton to remit that money to us. Okay. Oh, and it's by month. And so what we do is we anticipate heavier costs at the beginning of the year. And then we're going to have one big giant payment in June for teacher summer pay.
And that's for like summer activities, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And we've been, just so that everyone knows, we've been trying to smooth these payments out each year so that it's not such a burden to the towns. Right now, our carrying balance for cash, this is as of today, is just over $6 million. So this is money that we've collected from Kingston, Newton, and Fremont, and that we're going to be paying out over December, January timeframe. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing this.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay, on to the old business, the reconciliation of the revolving fund. Just as a reminder, we had not been able, because of some of the changes in the systems, to be able to see what the difference was. And we had a gap between what was reported at one point in time and then the new balance when we got it into the new system. So Matt was going to show us the bridge as to what that covered.
Yeah, I don't want to say that this bridge is complete. This is just the beginning of it. Okay, because what Jamie's asked for is a bridge from April through October. And I've only got it through June because I was able to get it done this afternoon. So basically what we have is April's a rehash of what we did back in the April meeting. And what you'll see is there was a refund for, we had some facility use rentals that we had to refund back in April. So you can see that there's a reduction of revenue of $1,500. There was nothing that occurred in May, but in June, we received $3,100 in building rentals. We paid out $54,500 for Memorial's roof. And we also paid out $16,912 for auditorium equipment for a projector. This relates to a facility use request that occurred back in the fall, where we requested some upgrades for the auditorium where we couldn't make presentations, and this was to put in some equipment based upon that approval.
Yeah, if my recollection serves, the approval was 17,000, so you're right under the number.
Right. So we ended the year at $124,054.47. Okay. At the next meeting, I'm hoping to get to you July, August, and September to bring you to October.
Okay. Any questions on that?
Thank you.
Medicaid reimbursement?
Yep. So basically, I did a quick write-up on this, and what I wanted to share to people is that last year, New Hampshire DHHS changed some regulations. It's their administrative code in relation to how Medicare is doled out to schools. Basically, the reimbursement rate was, actually reimbursements were easier to obtain last year. Here, let me see if I can share my screen because I have some numbers on this as well. Let's see. So the fiscal impact for the last 4 years, to date, we've received just over $4,000 from Medicaid. Last year, we received $2,493. The year before, we received $152,005.65. The year before that, $123,578.89. And the year before that, $120,235.55. So you can just see that the impact of putting in this administrative regulation made the Medicare revenue just fall off a cliff. And so what we've been working on is trying to improve our reporting to try to bring up that revenue. And what we're finding too is, so basically what services that we've been providing would be like speech therapy, and we'd be using our own employees to do that. So we're paying out our employees at their rate, but Medicare, we're finding that Medicare is reimbursing at a lower rate. So we're in the process of trying to figure out how to improve our revenue for Medicare.
Jamie?
Sorry, Jim. Go ahead.
Matt, do you know of any nationwide or statewide school association action to try to figure a workaround for this?
Yeah, so actually a lot of the local, this is really just it's not a nationwide issue. This is more of a New Hampshire issue. Okay. And basically there was an audit done by Medicare on New Hampshire's regulations, and it was discovered that they need to tighten up their regulations. So we have slipped through the cracks basically for the last several years. What we need to do is, or what's been going on is, a lot of the state school associations, such as the School Boards Association, the School Business Administrators Association, School Administrators Association as well, have gone to the governor and to the legislature to see if we can improve the revenue stream. So that's where we stand on that. I think our path of least resistance It's just trying to improve our reporting and try to capture what we have with our current path.
So these payments, do they come from state revenues or do they come ultimately from federal revenues?
It's federal revenue that's passed through the state.
So the state really has no interest in limiting the money that we get.
No, but they have to follow the federal guidelines.
But other
Yeah.
states must be meeting those guidelines, I would think.
Yes,
So it's a matter of how do you meet them, right? That doesn't make it so expensive, it's not worth doing.
that's right.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions on that?
No,
Any info on the follow-up items on the audit, Matt?
No, I don't have any info on that.
Okay, then there was the hockey booster. There was questions on that at the last meeting.
Yep. Let's see if I can bring that up on my screen. I should just keep my screen up. So the question is whether we're getting reimbursement from the Boosters Club for hockey. And what we did was we went in and we pulled out the current year and the last 3 years of all revenues from the hockey boosters. So the first year we received 25,000. The second year we received 25,000. Last year we received 17,190. You'll actually see, let me see if I can highlight it. Down here, if you underneath my mouse is $4,822. That ended up being a receivable. I don't know if you can see it on my computer. But we received that from the boosters on October 2nd.
question?
Yeah, Jim.
So I assume the difference between 1819 and 1920 is the warrant article that passed?
Yes.
Okay. And are the hockey boosters able to lease ice time at this period, or are those resources pretty much buttoned down?
I think those resources are pretty much buttoned down. I think this year is going to be an unusual. Everything is up in the air.
Okay.
I know on the school board meeting and Mr. Dawson's report out, he's going to talk about Phillips Exeter is not going to be renting out the rink this year.
Uh-huh.
But I think he'll have some information on that in his meeting, his report out at the school board.
Okay.
Okay, then Matt, no update on the cost and spending sheet for the reorganization. You were going to pull that together.
One more question on the hockey.
Yep, go ahead.
So the 379 we've collected this year is just a matter of where we are in the year, or a matter of what of activities and what's happening. $367.99.
I'm looking at it. It looks like we received that. It looks like we received that normally for this year and last year. So I would say that's it's a normal payment at the beginning of the year.
I see, because these other payments are in May and June. Okay. Okay, thanks, Matt.
Okay.
Yep.
Then Matt, as these aren't blue, I assume that you don't have that sheet finished yet?
That's correct. Although I do have to say that my time is starting to, because I'm starting to fill all the positions that I have underneath me, that I'm now able to start swinging towards these items. I hope you can see that I've been trying to knock them off in the last couple of days. So at the next meeting, I should be caught up.
All right.
Okay.
COVID spreadsheet.
Yep. So let me see if I can open this. And this is actually, what this is part of a reimbursement request that I submitted to the state yesterday. I try to zoom out, and I know the numbers are going to be really small on the screen. But basically, we received $265,400 from the state of this is Gopher Aid. Basically, the state had about $35 million extra left over that was unspent, and they were going to give each school district $200 towards COVID preparedness per student. Okay, we received $265,400 from that initial offering. We were required to document our spending of that $265,000 and return any balance that was unspent. So I was able to document spending of $724,510. That allowed us to dip into what they had was a $10 million reserve pool. So we had to show that we spent the $265,000, and then we're being pooled together from all the other school districts that have other expenditures above their allotment for the remaining 10 million. So I'm asking the state for an additional $459,110. I don't expect to receive $459,000. I'm thinking it's going to be more like pennies on the dollars, because we're also competing against other school districts that put in HVAC systems. They spent millions of dollars trying to open up their schools. Okay.
Where are those numbers on this sheet, Matt? Because I don't.
Okay. So over here on the right is the first allotment where it's blue.
Oh, you know what it is? My pictures are.
You know what? Let me zoom in. Okay.
That's all right. I just moved the pictures to the other side.
All right.
Okay, now I can see them.
So 265,000 is our initial allotment. I was able to show 724,000 of COVID preparedness, which allows me to ask for 459,000 in additional funds from that $10 million pool.
Great.
Okay. I just want to remind everyone, I'm not expecting $459,000. Okay.
Hopefully no one from the state is listening.
Now, I also want
I
to
didn't
point
say
out,
clearly he's expecting 458.
Right.
yeah, so the initial grant, the 265,000, is based upon students from sending districts. It does not include students that go to our high school from Fremont. That money went to Fremont.
Mhm.
And the state's requiring us to negotiate with Fremont and ask them to contribute towards our opening costs. As of today, they're going to be, I've given them all this information. I've given them a breakout of all the costs by high school, and I've asked them to contribute towards this cost. They're going to be making a decision on December 8th. So I just want to kind of quickly go down through this. The first one is buying materials and supplies related to cleaning, disinfecting, signage, plexiglass dividers, communication, and other cleaning supplies. Of that, I spent $159,000 or $158,000. You've seen the list before. Highlights of that list would be 58 air purifiers for $47,000. Thermometers for every school teacher for $12,000, almost $12,500. 8 cases of hand sanitizer for $4,000. 2 pallets of wipes for $17,468. By the way, every desk is wiped down after each use. we're going through wipes like there's no tomorrow. Let's see. Surgical masks, I bought 21,000. We consumed almost half the supply. That was $12,086. Let's see. I bought 1,828 clear masks for $8,180. So those are just a highlight of those supplies. I'm going to scroll on down.
Those masks are reusable, right? The clear plastic.
Reusable. The problem with masks are we're requiring everyone to bring in their own masks. Okay. However, we're going through masks like crazy because people are showing up without masks.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of expected this. And we see more of it at the school bus. So we've actually outfitted each school bus with a lot of masks. Now for the clear masks, they're mostly for special education classes where the students are really need to see the teacher's mouth move.
Uh-huh.
So it's like a little clear plastic shield that goes over their mask. I mean, over their mouth. And then the rest of it looks like a mask. Okay.
And those are reusable. Those are the teachers wear those, or
just the teachers use those.
uh-huh.
And that clear mask, by the way, is based upon what we estimate for an annual usage. So the 21,000 surgical masks was based upon 6-month usage.
How are those estimates working out?
We went through half the supply in about 45 days.
Wow.
So I think it's gonna.
It won't let up. People will continue to take the free masks. That won't stop. So, I mean, it's just going to be our reality. We're going to run out of time here, and I want to get to the non-public.
Oh, yeah.
We can table the other manifest questions because we're right at the manifest questions, and we can table those. I did go through them all, Matt. They only had a couple of small questions or comments on them, but I think most of them have been answered at least sufficiently to satisfy my needs. I don't know about the other guys, but we can talk about that at the next meeting.
Okay. There's one item that was in red that I want to have remain to the next meeting.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So we're just going to keep all of them for the next meeting. Okay?
Yep. And so I'll make a motion to go into a non-public session per RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, sections C and D. If I can get a second.
Second.
Okay, so let's take the vote on that. Pete?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
And myself, yes. So we'll go into non-public. Okay. I'd like to make a motion to seal the minutes into perpetuity. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call vote. Pete?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Myself is a yes. Any other items to bring to the table before we adjourn?
Nope.
All right, we will see you at the school board meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.